Hello, it's me, the voice in your head, also known as Brian, and I'm back with a new Football Manager 22 save just for you. As you can see from the screen I've hopped so far, if you followed my last save, it is what I discussed. We will be playing a save in Spain, but let's play some Geography Manager 22 before we get back to the Football Manager. Hopefully we're seeing a screen with a lovely map of Spain. So where is our football club? Somewhere here on the Iberian Peninsula? No. One of these islands that Spain controls? Also no. Did you know Spain has two exclaves on the African continent? Down here, Ceuta, and over here, Melilla, are Spanish-controlled autonomous cities that are in what would otherwise be Moroccan territory. Obviously, Spain claimed those in wars long ago. Modern-day Morocco insists they should be returned to them. Spain obviously has no interest in doing so. I don't plan on discussing the politics of the situation further, but we will be playing as a team based here in Melilla. Ceuta also has a team in the same tier of football in the Spanish pyramid. They are both teams in the fourth tier of the Spanish pyramid. So the object is to take a team that is based here on the African continent, whose home stadium here is on the African continent, and win UEFA Champions League with it. And I thought, it's certainly not nothing. But I've taken a team from the seventh tier of the English pyramid and won the whole thing. So is it really that hard to do it from the fourth tier of the Spanish pyramid? Here, I'm going to flick back to Football Manager. In fact, in some ways, it's easier. The team starts as a fully professional team, while when we played with Salisbury, they start as a semi-pro team. You have to work your way up to professional status. Our stadium's pretty significantly bigger. It starts at 10,000 capacity, while with Salisbury, we started with a stadium that was at most 5,000 and possibly in the 4,000s in terms of size. So we'll be able to bring in more people faster. So those are the obvious things, the benefits that we have with this club. So how do we make it harder still? Well, we're already a club on the African continent, so we're imposing ourselves a new rule on ourselves. We are only allowed to sign players who have African nationality. Now, we are allowed to, with the two exceptions, the exceptions being one, players who are already on the club are fine. We are allowed to re-sign. We don't have to ditch our entire roster immediately. That would be insanely difficult. And we don't have to, and we can sign any homegrown or otherwise products out of our youth academy. So if we have Spanish players coming out of our U19s, we are allowed to keep them if any of them are any good. Obviously, based on how long it takes to get your training facilities to be good and bring in talent, I wouldn't expect that to be a route for us to bring in much talent, but you never know. To help me in this task, I have downloaded mods to put a lot of African leagues, in the game. In the base game, the only African league available is the South African League. So I want to obviously produce more African players, more regens, to just have more African players in the league to be available for me to sign. It would be pretty damn difficult if I didn't. So I activated what I thought was basically every league in Northern Africa, so the ones that are geographically close, all of the countries that are in the top 10 in population in Africa, and Equatorial Guinea, which is the only Spanish-speaking African nation. So we have activated, in addition to kind of a regular swath of nations of the European Big Five, the U.S. because I am American-based, Brazil, Argentina. But so we have activated leagues in Algeria, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Libya, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa, Sudan, Tanzania, Tunisia, and Uganda. So hopefully that, in addition to the other countries who, have some players regenerated into, non-activated clubs to populate their national teams, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, often those former French colonies are, reliable producers of good talent, and they will still produce talent to populate their national teams. And so we might be able to grab some of that talent as well from clubs that aren't activated. But then we have that, 12 to 15 countries I have that have full leagues, sometimes even 2 leagues of talent. It's for us to look at and hopefully acquire. I make no distinctions about someone who is, say, born in France but has a Côte d'Ivoire second nationality. That person has African nationality to me. I am not one trying to set an exclusionary standard. That is not my place. So if World Soccer recognizes your place as a potential African international, I am happy to bring you on to the Melilla squad here in the future. So we're here in the Segundo Division RFEF Grupo 5 competition. There are 18 teams in here. The top 5 make the promotion semifinals, I believe, and then or at least could, the bottom 5 or so get relegated or are in the competition for that. There's a promotion playoff semifinal. 20 teams go in. 10 teams go in to the promotion finals, and 5 teams get promoted to the 1A RFEF. From here, we start dealing with some B teams in the league table. And let's see. So then there's promotion semifinals. 8 teams go in. 4 teams go up. This is Grupo 1. So again, there are multiple groups. That would take you up in the second tier, the Segunda Division, and then up into La Liga Santander, where the big boys play. And this is obviously our goal, to be here, then to be winning this, and then be winning the Champions League with a club based on the African continent with all African players, with potentially a few exceptions of players who came to the African continent to train from the time they were a young child. So, fair enough. So we have this club, and I have, gone through the summer window. The club is already packed full of players, so there wasn't a whole lot of space to make moves. As you can see from this roster screen, I have some green highlights. These are players I've got in on trial. They are not really players I'm looking at now. They are players who are on national teams of African countries who are out of contract with any league teams. So theoretically, we could offer a deal to any of these players right now. We don't really have the salary space to do so, unfortunately. We are very tight on salary. We have a relatively large roster here, even ignoring the... Okay, we can probably cut Omar Musa's trial short. And so we will. He's not going to be good enough. As well as we carry a full B team, which is both fun and a little annoying. The B team doesn't play anyone, so we will be letting Al, our B team, contract expire to create cap space going forward. And we do have a U19 team as well, a youth side. Jesus here seems interesting, very pacey, has a few key attributes, just 15. Hey, maybe it'll be good enough to crack the team someday. Also, we will get him a real face eventually with the regen face pack, because... Ugh. But anyways, so we had to adapt to what we already had. And one thing I unfortunately noticed... tactics, maybe? No. Squad. Yes, team depth chart. In terms of playing, say, my 4-3-3 that I love, we don't really have fullbacks. Remember here that Emilio Nuse here is on trial. So we'd be playing Jose Antonio Gonzalez here, who's actually a center mid, just a very talented player. So we'd be playing him wildly out of position at the left. And back here we'd have Pepe Romero, who is a right back. So he has that going for him. But we have one right back. And these others are, Okay, apparently we have right backs. But Kiki Lopez is not a right back. He's a very old and inadequate right midfielder. He's given Jordan Hernandez's abilities here, he is definitely a center back and not a left back. Same with Del Monte. So that means, since I have like one competent fullback, we basically have to abandon playing any sort of four at the back formation, which is where I'm most comfortable. So I've had to mess around and start tinkering with these three at the back formations. And this is currently where I am at. We don't have any wing backs either. So we will be playing what is technically a 3-1-3-1-2. It is a glorified 3-5-2, obviously, but we have broken our three center midfielders up into the three strata of the center midfield. One as a defensive midfielder, one as a true center midfielder, and one as an attacking center midfielder. Since we're in the lower levels, I again feel compelled to play a two at the top. I feel like we have a bit of weakness on the wings if we tried to use those spots. And I just love a defensive midfielder, even with three at the back. So it made sense to stratify the center midfielders, in my opinion. I always feel like they get a little cramped if you're playing all three there. So I'd rather have someone dipped back and someone pushed forward to create that separation. And we had one acquisition. I did bring in one player. Akil Amana here, who perhaps you'll recognize if you're familiar with the World game. He is an old man at this point, 39, but still has decent pace at 12. He is an attacking midfielder. His mentals are maybe a little weak in some spots. His bravery, aggression, but he's an attacking midfielder, so I don't care about that. And if his acceleration is slowing down a little, that's mostly fine. But his technicals are very, very good. He played for a number of years in Toulouse, after coming up originally in Valencia Mestalla. Then transferred to Real Betis, playing in La Liga and then La Liga 2, before being sold about 10 years ago to the Saudi leagues, loaned out to the UAE, spent some time in Mexico, before coming back to the Spanish second division, and then a trip to Japan, Spanish second division, interestingly Mumbai City in India, and then has been pushed down into the third tier of Spain before getting moved down to the fourth tier, as he'd been kind of an infrequent player, and then looks like he took a year off, probably due to COVID there in the 2020-21 year. He is Cameroonian, has 42 caps with the Cameroonian national team. So he was part of the reason we decided we were going to break up that 3-5-2 into a stratified 3-5-2, as I think he probably works best if we don't tax his body too much by trying to have him play at the center midfield and just leave him up here in a more attacking position. That has meant that obviously we're going to have weaknesses here at the back edges of the pitch. So I have both of my wide midfielders set as defensive wingers. They are intended to track back. So I think we will have hopefully enough defensive coverage here, as well as enough oomph where we have the most talent up front. So I am hopeful that this works, but I don't really know. So you will get to find out with me. Our first match here is against Real Murcia. And let us... Alright, we're going to say... No, I already made my changes there. Don't want them undoing them. Because they want to put a quote-unquote true left winger on. I believe it was Kike Lopez. And he's fine, but Jose Antonio Gonzalez can play there because he can play everywhere, pretty much. And that allows us to play Andres Garcia, who's just, I think, a better player. So it gets just the better players on the pitch to do that, play Gonzalez slightly out of position. We have some players who are... Yeah, thanks. Away on international duty. I don't think there are any make-or-break players. I think our optimal right winger is out, but we're going to have to make do for his national team. We have, very low badges and experience, I believe. So, game is set to be... Oh, okay. I guess usually I play a little faster, but that's about it, right? Let's see. We are in blue. Yep. Del Campo gets a break. On goal. Tipped over the top. Good break, though. I like it. Opportunity created. Amano, of course, here to take the corners. Nothing going there. I probably do need to go look into... I believe I set the corners. Who's attacking near post, far post, but I need to go double check that. 15 minutes in. Let's wait till about 20. Gonzalez taking a free kick on this side. Amana back to Gonzalez. Cameronian plays it back to defenders. Actually, I believe that's a right winger. But Barla up to Del Monte. Into Gonzalez. Cisse. Del Monte. Barla. Cisse. Up to Hernandez. Looking to break free. Just 17 there is just... Surfian probably is just anchored to a spot instead of pushing forward because he's a defensive winger on defend, I believe, which I might need to... Well, he's going to be offsides, I believe. Yeah. But I love the work from Del Campo to head that back in and not let him clear it. We might need to, I might need to, let you have any control here. I think I will actually go and amend this defensive winger to defensive winger support from defensive winger defend to try and get him pushing forward when he needs to, as opposed to just absolutely refusing to go up the pitch and provide width where we need it. This has obviously been a very unexciting first half of football. It's positive for our defense, I suppose. Ball's played forward to Hernandez. Got a run. Got a step. Oh, pushes it wide. Come on. I want to say Ivan, but that's probably not right. Maybe it is. Let's check. Yeah, see, they don't listen to me just yet. No one's responding in a good way. Iker Hernandez. Fun. Del Campo, Parla. Center back, racing forward with the ball, looking to create an opportunity, and just plays it back. Alright, have some players who have picked up minor injuries. Surfian got a bruised shin, but seems like he can play through it. In the center here, Andres Garcia has a damaged shoulder. Let's give him a little longer and pull him probably in the 60th. We will. Gonzalez takes it to Parla. Oh, good. Threatening attempt. Saved, and Hamana will take the corner first here. Plays it in. Nope. Intercepted by Alberto. Alright. Let's go to the tactics here. Alright, Garcia is injured and struggling to run it off, so we will definitely be bringing in... No, not condition. Detailed? That's alright, but... Position. Sure, I was kind of more hoping to get some ratings out of these players. Who is our best players that are currently sitting? As I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Lopez is probably the best choice to bring on, so let us slide Antonio Gonzalez into the middle and put Lopez out on that left wing. We will confirm that change. Give another encouraging shout. They mostly ignore. Alright, let's take a look at who is tired. Defensive midfielder here, Baba Cisse, and defensive winger on the right, Sufyan, are both on relatively poor scores and the most tired of anyone. Okay, we can bring Del Monte up. It's a little undersized as a true center back anyways to play there. And then we can bring in either Abed 6'2", 2 stars, not a ton of potential. It's a classic size versus athleticism debate. Asil has the size, has better tackling, has poor marking. Mahugo doesn't have better marking either. Mahugo does have better mentals, I think. I'm going to go with Mahugo here for Cisse at the back. And then we will put in Romero at the right wing. I don't actually know if we were on a 3-save league or a 5-save league. I didn't check. More oversights. I am the best manager ever. Do not like to see him breaking forward there. But our guys do get back. Played to the top of the box. We had it free, and Del Campo's the one who comes away with it. Well done, buddy. Dribble out, finds Kike Lopez on that left side. He brings it in, up to Gonzalez. Amana, looking for Hernandez. No good, but Amana does get a header and play it back to Gonzalez. Out to Romero on the wing. Iker tries to play a one-on-one with Romero. Romero does get it after some defensive helps. DeMonte comes up, looking for the ball, and plays it up to Kike Lopez. Oh, so close. Off the top crossbar. Looks like they have a corner. Looks like the guy will be taking an outswinger. Again, as I've said many a time, I'm generally happy with outswingers. And Baleste makes the save. Can't yell at the boys to encourage him more just yet. Not that it seems to have any impact on morale, but played over to Chica. Del Monte. To Parla. Mahugo. Del Campo, but heads it back, and there's no one in the space where he's looking. Maybe if I'd playing the flat 3-5-2, would have had someone there, but with the stratification, not so much. They blast at the edge. Luckily, we have a guy in retreat. Juan seems like their most dangerous player. They found him twice there. Annoying. Looks like our left center back gets sucked in, but just doesn't notice Ortiz making a run from distance. Encourage, and let's move to attacking mentality. We might need to shift our... 6 minutes. Is there an injury on their side that we didn't see? It's a lot of stoppage time for just one goal. We might need to push our formation to play wider. We've kind of had too many guys just kind of standing around next to each other with the ball. Amana finds Del Campo breaking through. Their defender gets back, unfortunately. We will get a corner out of the affair, so that's not nothing. And Amana will take the kick. Unfortunately, we are unable to get it on frame, and it rolls away. Haro plays it short to Ortiz. Defenders come out. Back to Ortiz in the top of the box, and we're going to run out of time here. So we had good scores, ratings from two defenders. Sure. Oh, great. You love it when one of your best players decides, hey, I should go get a second yellow card in the dying minutes of the game. Hands out the yellow card and the game's over. But that means we're going to lose him for the next game at a minimum. Just dumb. That dude's getting a lecture. Probably a fine. So, this clearly wasn't the game we wanted to show, but it was a very even affair. They had one very good opportunity they created, and that was enough. Hernandez was on a 6.2 and straight offside, got a yellow card. Yeah, no, we're not going to pretend. We need to see more from him. We want wins. Not ugly, embarrassing end-of-game losses. Leave it to the physio. Sergio Chico was good. Send the assistants to talk to them. We will miss Jose Antonio Gonzalez for one game, and we have fined him, and we expect better judgment from him rather than picking up a dumb red card. So, that's great. We will try to replace both those players. I think we will get our players back from the international window. Fran Nunez, who's our captain, I believe, or our co-captain, assistant captain, is one of them. And Vargas here, the Panamanian, is another. So we will be a little more stocked up to make up for that injury and that suspension. But still not thrilled by it. But we have many, many games to go. I'm happy to be back with you. You probably won't actually see this release for a little while, as I'm going to stick it in a can and kind of build up a back catalog of several episodes before I start releasing anything. But when you do see these videos, thank you so very much for joining me. I don't really care that much about the algorithm or the likes or subscribes, but I do like to hear from you. I would love to chat. I'd love to talk about your comments in future videos, whether it be on YouTube or in other places where you may find me. So yeah, I hope to hear from you most of all. Thank you so much for your time, and it's good to be back with you. Thanks. Bye.